The 1800s were really the beginning, and baseball evolved. Every year the rules changed a little, the players got better, the ballparks got better. This was what set up it becoming the national pastime. It was the work of these early pioneers.
Baseball began around 1845 as a New York game. It remained a regional pastime until the Civil War, when soldiers from all over embraced it as a way to kill time when they were in camp.
Every town formed a team. Now Columbus, the first team created was the Columbus Buckeyes, and they played the first recorded game on April 6, 1866 at Parsons and Broad Street, which was the grounds of the Franklin County Insane Asylum. And the first team beat the second team 95-44.
6 teams were organized that first year. The names of some city leaders who played are recognizable today: Chittenden, Neal, Denison, and King, for instance. People from all walks of life joined the teams.
One of the teams, the Capitals, had a young man named P.W. P.W. always batted last, and he always played right field. At the end of the season, he gets called into the manager's office, and we were imagining what it would be like. P.W., thanks for coming out. We had a lot of fun. We hope you had fun too, but don't quit your day job. So he created a bank. His name was P.W. Huntington. Now, the guy who always batted ninth has his name above the ballpark.
Columbus had 6 teams when the National League was formed in 1876. But when they were trounced by a team from Cincinnati, they decided to consolidate so they could be more competitive. Jimmy Williams organized the Columbus Buckeyes, an all-professional team. In 1877, the Buckeyes played in a 7-city league with teams in the United States and Canada that Williams created. In 1883, Columbus made the big leagues. Williams secured a franchise for the Columbus Buckeyes when the American Association expanded from 6 to 8 teams.
Well, the first year they didn't do really well, but the second year they finished in second. On that team was Eddie Cannonball Morris. He was the greatest left-handed pitcher of the 1800s. He was one of the very first pitchers to throw overhand. He threw overhanded, and the umpire read the rule book and he goes, "Doesn't say he can't do it." And when he stood on Recreation Park's pitching square, he faced west. And so when he threw the ball, it came out of the south. One of the local sports writers called him a southpaw, and the name has stuck for every lefty ever since. One of my very favorite people on the Buckeyes team, his name was Eddie Dummy Dundon, which was sort of an irony. They weren't really politically correct, passing out the nicknames in the 1880s, but the irony is he was actually the valedictorian of his school, the Ohio School for the Deaf and Dumb. Dumb meaning not that you weren't intelligent, but that you couldn't speak because you couldn't hear. Their philosophy was to raise deaf children as closely as they could to hearing children. Well, that included playing sports. So they formed the very first Ohio high school baseball team. Of course, there was nobody to play. There no other high school had a team. So they played the colleges, Ohio State, Ohio Wesleyan, and they got pretty good. And they traveled to eastern United States, and they actually beat major league teams. Eddie was the first to play in the majors, but he had a problem. When he would slide into second base, he couldn't hear if he was out or he was safe. So he worked out some hand signals with the umpires. They might go, "Whoa, Eddie, stop there, you're all right." Or, "Eddie, you're out, go back to the bench." Well, he played for 10 years and his teammates played for even longer. Now they go, "You're safe and you're out," all because of their handicaps. The 1883 and 84 Buckeyes, we were arrested for playing baseball on Sunday. There was a big meeting at City Hall, and on one side of the aisle were all the pro baseball people and all the other ones were the pro blue law people, and it was almost violent. And finally, A very elderly man stood up. His name was William Deschler, of the Deschler Hotel fame. And he stood up and goes, "Gentlemen, this is ridiculous." He goes, "How about if the players agree not to play on Sunday, we let them out of jail and we'll just forget the whole thing." And they did. But the problem was, is in 1884, everybody worked 6 days a week. And Sunday was the only day they had free to go to a ball game. So the finances of the team went right in the dumper.
The team never recovered from that event, and the Columbus Buckeyes were sold to the Pittsburgh Allegheny Club. Today, the Allegheny Club, with roots in Columbus, is known as the Pittsburgh Pirates.
We didn't have a team for 2 years. And then in 1887, we joined the Ohio State League, which was a minor league. That team, 70 years before Jackie Robinson, we had an African-American player named Jay Higgins. Jay played third base and center field and catcher for us. In fact, there were a number of African-Americans in the Ohio State League.
The Columbus Salons re-entered the American Association in 1889. In 1891, a proposed merger was going to shut out 4 teams, but one of the owners, Ralph Lazarus, committed a costly error.
The National League wanted Columbus, but earlier in the season, Ralph Lazarus got in an argument with Chris Vanderall of the St. Louis Browns. He was the owner for them. And he just punched him right in the nose. Pretty good right hook. At the end of the season, Vanderall went around to all the American Association owners and asked them, "How much do you want for your team if you're one of the guys left out in the cold?" And everybody wrote the figure down. And so he had all the teams. So when the National League wanted Columbus, he goes, "I have the proxy for Columbus, they're out." And so we lost our major league team.
Once again, Columbus was left without a professional baseball team. In 1896 through 1899, Columbus played baseball in the Western League, a high minor league.
In '99, there were hints that the National League was going to drop 4 teams and go back to an 8-team league. The man who ran the Western League was named Ban Johnson, and he takes the Columbus team to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is in the low minors, and took the low minors Grand Rapids team and brought them to Columbus. Well, this angered the Columbus fans.
In 1899, the National League had a message for 4 teams: "You're out." The Western League moved into those cities and was renamed the American League. By 1901, it was considered a major league. And that former Columbus team that was moved to Grand Rapids, they made one more move. And today, they're called the Cleveland Indians.